And so it has come to pass. The NFL regular season has come to an end. And tonight, to celebrate or mourn, depending on your perspective, the end of the New York Jets regular season, we will be doing our second annual New York Jets award show. We're going to be giving out positive awards, we're going to be giving out negative awards, and we're going to be grading all four units of the team. And from there, we're going to move on, talk a little GM, talk a little coach search, and whatever's on your mind as well. Plus, a little 3 and out. We still got some Jets trivia, and maybe we'll spin the wheel. All that and more. It's Wednesday night. It's 6 p.m. We are live. Welcome everybody back to New York Sports WickerMedia. I'm WatchUK99. Thank you as always for taking the time to join me for the Wednesday Night Live extravaganza. A lot to talk about tonight. Of course, now that the regular season for the New York Jets is over, we're going to see a few changes in the format. Still see some of the things that you come to know and expect and hopefully love throughout the program. But over the next couple of months, as we shift our attention to free agency and to the draft, you'll see a few changes on here. Because you know what? We roll with the season. We roll with what's coming. And maybe one of these days we'll actually be able to preview a freaking playoff game. Maybe we'll be able to generate help. Maybe we'll be able to just preview playoff scenario possibilities. How about that for a concept? One of these days, good days will come. I got to believe at the end of the day, all my loyalty and stupidity will be rewarded as a fan of this team and of all the other teams that I root for. All right. But before we do that, let's say hello to a couple of people in the chat. First of all, very special hello to Arkansas. Hope you're out there and hope you're feeling well today. The great Danger Zone Jets. I think I know who that is. Yeah, I think he usually had a capital O there at the end of his name, but the Danger Zone. I know 8 more subscribers. What will I do when I hit 1,000? Maybe we'll just do a night of wheels or something like that. Maybe I'll have a special guest on or something like that. Who knows? Maybe I'll eat another 18 hot dogs. You never know. But if you've got suggestions, I'm definitely open-minded to it. David D, greetings to you as well. Thanks for coming by tonight. And if, for anyone else who stops by, put down, be sure to say hello. And, if you got any questions, you got any thoughts, let me have them. All right, we're going to get into the Jets in one moment. But before we do that, we always talk about what else is going on in the world of New York sports. So let's talk about what's on my mind in a little bit of what we like to call 3 and out. First of all, the New York Knicks. Yeah, I got the MSG background up. 3 straight losses for the first time this season. Now 24-13. The injuries are catching up. Karl Anthony Towns missing the game here. Jalen Brunson missing this game. Deuce McBride being perpetually hurt kills the bench. It's not a great bench to begin with, but when you take Deuce out, they just don't have much to give. Now, they've got Toronto tonight at 7:30, and I'm sorry, nothing less than a win is acceptable. I don't care if Rick Brunson has to get on the court, Jalen's father. Okay, you lost 3 in a row, beat Toronto. Can you do that, please? And here's another thing. If the team needs this apparent burst of energy, can they call up TJ Warren from the G League? I'm not just saying that because I'm 3 miles away from NC State University where he played college ball. He has been dominant for Westchester. 25 points per game, 5th in the league. The Knicks could use a little bit of punch off the bench. Why not give him a shot? I'm just saying it would not be the worst idea in the world to try some of these other players. And you can tell me Tom Thibodeau doesn't try his bench player. Tom Thibodeau will play players who earn minutes. So that's all I'm going to say about that. On to the New York Mets. Well, they just met with Tanner Scott, probably the top relief pitcher available on the open market. the expectation is they would try to add him on a short-term, high average annual value kind of a contract. Now, Scott, excellent last season. 30 years old, had a 1.75 ERA, 22 saves, only 2 blown saves with the Marlins and the Padres. I still question if he would come to the Mets, especially if he wants to close, because you've already got Edwin Diaz there. But the Mets absolutely need to improve their bullpen. It's one of those things that you don't always think about until the season actually starts. But the relief market, it really hasn't gotten going yet. I mean, what relief pitchers have really signed at this point? Jonathan Loaizaga stayed with the Yankees. Blake Trinan stayed with the Dodgers. Jordan Romano, the Blue Jays closer, signed. But look at all the pitchers who are available. Kenley Jansen, Ryan Presley, David Robertson, even though he's like in his 40s at this point. Carlos Estevez, AJ Minter, Tommy Canley, Buck Farmer, Caleb Ferguson, Jeff Hoffman, Jose Leclerc, Paul Sewald, Kirby Yates. There are plenty of pitchers out there to go get. And, of course, the Mets could bring back Ryan Stanek, who pitched very well for them in the playoffs. I would like to see that happen. But as the Pete Alonso negotiations drag and drag and drag, like it's the second half of the New York Jets regular season, you know, how about we go after a couple of relief pitchers and improve this bullpen that could use some reliable arms? And I also wanted to give a little bit of love to David Wright, who will be getting his jersey retired. The number 5 will go to the rafters at Citi Field. No one will ever wear number 5 for the New York Mets again, and he'll be inducted into the Mets Hall of Fame. That will be on July 19th. And from what I'm seeing, tickets right now are going at about $200 per ticket. All I can tell you is when I was living in Norfolk, I got to see him get inducted into the Virginia Sports Hall of Fame, and I only had to pay about $12 plus $6 for maybe the worst hot dog I have ever eaten in my life. But I did get to see. So, hey, the truth is I have seen David Wright get inducted into the Hall of Fame already. So I'll just take that one home with me, right? But seriously, Wright holds the Mets franchise records for hits with 1,777, doubles 390, walks 762, RBIs 970, runs scored 949. He's second in Mets history with 242 home runs. Batting average 296, also the second highest. Now, I got to be honest with you. I was always a Jose Reyes guy. I've always had a knack for players who run, who can lead off, who set the table. Those have always been the guys I have gravitated to. But Wright is absolutely a player you can be proud of and a person you can be proud of. Between all his charity work, the way he carried himself on the field, you know, it's hard to dislike him. There's really a difference. It's been hitting me over the last little while. There's a difference between disliking what a player did against your team versus disliking the player himself. And it's pretty hard to dislike David Wright, the person. Yeah. So just want to mention that. So all props to number 5 as he gets his jersey retired this July. All right, guys. Well, let's change a couple of things. Let's switch the background here. Yeah, let's put a little green on it. And I think we're going to switch out the virtual background as well and put in, you know what? Yeah, we're just going to go with the straight green background. So all I can tell you is this, Jets fans, the regular season, the season of misery is over, and now it is time for us to look forward to the happiest time of the year as Jets fans, the offseason. So everybody, let's say it one time, say it proud, say it loud, let it go! There it is, Jets, 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 Jets. So let's recap. I'm going to spend about 10 seconds on this game. It was good to get a win against Miami. And for anybody complaining about dropping one spot in the draft order from 6 to 7, stop. Just please stop. 6 to 7 is not going to be that big of a deal. Good to see Aaron Rodgers throw 4 touchdowns. Defense forced 4 turnovers. Greg Joseph, kicker number 5 on the year, made every kick. One day, that'll be a trivia question. Name the 5 kickers the Jets had during the 2024 season. Not going to say when it's going to happen, but one day it will happen. Now, for the snap counts, for those of you who have been with me before, after a game, you know I recap the snap counts. I like to look at how many snaps they got during the game and compare it to the previous week to see what the trend is. Are they getting more time on the field, less time on the field? What can we take out of this? A couple quick hellos. Johnny Jimenez, the great Johnny boy. How you doing, man? Hey, Wild Wave, how you doing? One spot could always make a difference, but 1 versus 2, yes, that can make a difference. But you know what, Wild Wave, in a draft where quarterback is not probably going to be a priority, because I expect the top 2 quarterbacks to be gone in the top 5 picks, and then none for a while after that. I think the Jets are going towards the defensive line early on. That's my initial thought. And you have several players there. Now, who knows how they'll be evaluated, but 6 versus 7, you can still get a pretty darn good player. And remember this too. I've said this before. Teams that are constantly bad will typically find ways to screw up in the draft. And I look at some of the teams ahead of the Jets right now. I look at the Giants. I look at the Browns. Teams like that. I can even include the Patriots. They didn't do too good drafting for a long time there. A little bit better last year. But who's to say that they are going to take the right players? So can it make a difference? Yes. But is it going to be that pivotal? It really, really should. Wild Wave is already on the Abdul Carter bandwagon. Okay. Well, you know what? Over the next couple of weeks, Wild Wave, we are going to be reviewing some of these players. I'm going to be watching a video. I'll break down what I find out. This is what we did last year, and I enjoy doing it. It took a lot of time. I'm not going to lie to you. I spent a lot of time breaking down some of these players, but come the draft time, we felt ready to go. And hey, again, we knew who Quantez Stiggers was before anybody else did. I am always going to wave that banner. We were the Quantez Stiggers show before anybody else. Top 7 guarantees a stud. It can also guarantee a bust. So who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? But there are months and months to go until the draft. We still got a GM to hire. We got a coach to hire. We've got free agency to go through. We've got cuts to make. All kinds of crazy things here that are going to happen. So let's talk about the snap count. So what we're going to do is break down everybody who played for the Jets by position and see how much they played for the entire season. So let's start with quarterback. So the offense total had 1,066 snaps. Aaron Rodgers played all but 36 of those snaps, 97% of the time. Tyrod Taylor, of course, played the other 36 snaps. If you had told the Jets fan at the beginning of the year, Aaron Rodgers will play in all 17 games and play 97% of the snaps, I'd be pretty confident they weren't going to win only 5 games. I'm very confident in saying that. Running back, Breece Hall, 67% of the snaps, 720, although you wouldn't have really known it because they just never really fed him the ball. There was never a game where they said, okay, Breece, you go wear them down, you go hit a home run, you go win us this game. Just never happened. He never got 20 carries in a single game. Braylon Allen, 283, 27% of the snaps. His time really started to diminish as the year went on. Then when Breece missed a little bit of time, Braylon stepped on in. I thought Isaiah Davis gave some good punch at the end of the year. He played 10% of the time. I think with this 1-2-3 punch at running back, you got to feel very, very good about it. I'd say that's one position the Jets don't need to address right now is running back. And even Kene Nwangwu got 1 whole snap on offense, more of a special teams player. Of course, he had that one kickoff touchdown, which was good to see. But yeah, Kene actually got 1 snap. At wide receiver, Garrett Wilson, 96% of the snaps, played 1,025. Alan Lazard was next, 649, got 61% of the snaps, which is pretty amazing considering he missed about a month. He missed about 5 games with injuries, and yet he still played 61% of the snaps. So if he hadn't gotten hurt, believe me, that number would be a lot higher. Devontae Adams came over late in the season, still played 57% of the snaps, but he was on the field nearly as much as Garrett was when he came in. Mike Williams. Oh, we'll get to Mike Williams a little bit later on. 301 snaps, played 28% of the offensive snaps. Xavier Gibson, 182, only 17%. That is one player that I am ready to move on from. I just don't see what he adds. He'll have his one moment in Jets history, his one moment in the sun, the kickoff return touchdown in overtime against Buffalo, and that is it. Malachi Corley. 83 snaps. Only 8% of the snaps did he play. Was deactivated most of the time. And let's be honest, during most of those 83 snaps, they never even looked his way. You wouldn't even know he was on the field most of the time. Irv Charles played 10 snaps. Brandon Smith, who was a preseason darling, did get 1 snap in as well. All right. Let's do the offense. Then I'll look at a couple things that y'all are saying in the chat. At tight end, speaking of a position that needs to be upgraded in the worst way, Tyler Conklin, 805 snaps, 75% did he play. Took a long time for him to get a touchdown, but he finally did towards the middle of the year. Jeremy Ruckert, whatever he is, 393 snaps, played 37% of the time. And most of the time when he was playing, the Jets wished, most Jet fans wished somebody else was there. Kenny Yeboah, injured for a good part of the season, did play 106 snaps, 10% of the time. And then, man, oh man, hey, maybe I should actually quiz about all the tight ends we've had. Brendan Bates, who the Jets claimed on waivers and was one of the worst blocking tight ends I have ever seen in my life. Oh my gosh. Brendan Bates, 26 snaps. Anthony Ferkser, 9 snaps. And Johnny knows what's up. Coots signed to a reserve contract, so we get another year of Coots. 1 snap, 1%. Oh, my God. While Wave, I will say this. We are not expected to have any comp picks this year. If we're going to have comp picks, it's going to be next season. It's not going to be this year. All right. So I looked at an article that previewed them for this year, and it's not going to happen this year. So what we have is what we already have is what we're going to have to work with. My whole thing on trading down is this. If you have a player you believe in enough, you stay there and you get him. I'd rather have 1 really good player than 2 so-so players. That's really what I would feel about that. Trading back is not always the answer. And again, you need a partner. You need a dancing partner, somebody who is willing to trade up. Now, how many teams are going to want to come up to pick 7 to pick player X? It's interesting. It could happen. If the Jets were in the top 5, I'd be like, yeah, let's do that. I don't know if it's a situation that's going to happen. You know, the combine, all these different things. We're going to get more answers as time goes on. It's like a mystery novel that we're reading. It's not going to be concluded until the draft down the road. And until then, it's going to be 1 page at a time that gives us a little bit more information as we keep going. Now, with the offensive line, Morgan Moses, of all people, played the most snaps. One moment. Yep. Offensive tackle we're looking at specifically. I decided to break up tackle versus guard. So Morgan Moses played 68% of the snaps despite battling ankle injuries and chest injuries and all kinds of injuries. But he played 722 snaps, free agent to come. That's going to be one of the biggest decisions the Jets have to make. I did a video on Monday about the 10 biggest questions the Jets have to address between now and the draft. And one of those questions I had, does Morgan Moses come back at right tackle? The locker room wasn't doing too great, but I think he had to have been a very good mentor for guys like Olu Fashanu and help keep the locker room about as together as it could be. The Jets did not have a lot of leadership, but Moses is one of those leaders. So I would like to see that. Tyron Smith, 592 snaps. Oh, dear God, have mercy. Played 55% of the snaps, and most of them he played terribly. A missed block here, a penalty there. It was one of those signings, not too different than Laken Tomlinson a couple of years ago, that made all the sense in the world, and it just didn't work out. Whether that's because of coaching, whether that's because of injuries, age, scheming, whatever it is, the sensible signing didn't work. And that's about all you could really say about it. Olu Fashanu stepped in, played exactly 50% of the snaps, 533 in total. And I'd say we got our future left tackle ready to go. Max Mitchell and Carter Warren, oh, dear God. Oh, I'd rather a decimal point be like, next right before the 2s on both of those. But again, Max Mitchell, I have no use for anymore. Carter Warren, I'm still okay with him as maybe like the 4th tackle, the 5th tackle, but that's it. And again, I still think he is very raw, and he's better suited as a left tackle, not a right tackle. I think he was being played out of position. But again, as bad a coach as Keith Carter is believed to be on the offensive line, maybe if you had some credible coaching, you could get something out of these guys, something. I don't know. Then again, Fashanu's developing pretty well. Maybe he's developing in spite of Keith Carter. Who knows what the truth is? On to offensive guard, John Simpson. Wow. We're going to talk about Simpson a little bit more. Played 89% of the snaps, 951 total, was absolutely excellent. Elijah Vera Tucker. Yeah, Danger Zone saying it. Extend AVT was a gladiator this year on a high ankle sprain. Yeah, the reports are out. He was not doing anything most of the season until Thursday because he had to let his ankle rest, and he still played 85% of the snaps. So is he prone to getting hurt? You can make that argument if you want to, but you can't doubt his toughness, his resilience, and I hope he's here for a long time to come. I like these two guards, and I like them a lot. Simpson's got one more year on his deal, as does AVT, though. So decisions will have to be made. Jake Hansen played 103 snaps, 9%. Xavier Newman played 11. Hello, Newman. Zach Bailey, also signed to a reserve contract, played 9 snaps. And Wes Schweitzer, who was injured for most of the year, got 1 snap where he came in as the 6th offensive lineman. I don't expect him back at all. Joe Tippmann, the only player this year to play every single snap on either offense or defense. Tippmann played a full 1,066 snaps, played every single down for the offense. So credit to the Wisconsin Badger graduate, Joe Tippmann. I'd say that the Jets made a good decision there, drafting him over John Michael Schmitz. I think we could agree on that, but of course we can't talk about the good things that were done in the draft. I know we can't do that. Johnny Boy, can Jalen Brunson and Juan Soto help the Jets? Dano and Adam. Yeah, let me think. Soto's got that keen eye, he's really good at that. Soto could be your quarterback. Yeah, the way he could read a pitch, maybe he could read a defense that well. And Jalen Brunson's got he's got some good vision there. Maybe put Jalen in as like a running back, like an H-back. I could see that working. Plus, he's got quick feet too. So, yeah, there you go. Your quarterback and your running back. That's what Juan and Jalen would be. There you go. Yeah, Danger wants to extend AVT. Wow, wait, was referring to 2026. I got you. All right. Harlan Abraham, how you doing, man? Father Abraham and his many sons have joined us. Glad you're here, buddy. All right. Happy 2025. All right. Now let's go over to defense. Actually, let's do what we always do. You know what I do during the game preview videos, right? Let's flip the script. So on to the defense. They played 1,148 snaps, and some of these are going to make you they're going to make you hurt. It's going to hurt, guys. It is going to hurt. Will McDonald played 66% of the snaps. That's the most of any defensive line, 758. We'll talk about some of these guys in a little bit more depth when we do our awards for the year. Michael freaking Clemens, 625 snaps. I think on 620 of, I think about half of them, he was either piling on or failing to set the edge properly. Played 54% of the snaps. Hassan Reddick, the less said about him, the better. 393 snaps, played 34% of the time once he actually got his ass in the building. Eric Watts, this surprised me. Eric Watts played 20% of the snaps. How many snaps, guys, did you notice Eric Watts play this year? Wasn't many. It wasn't many. Didn't really notice him. Now, the Jets kept him because they felt he was one of those raw pass rushing prospects that maybe would need a red shirt year. I don't know. I'm not giving up on a player after 1 year, especially an undrafted free agent, but he's one of those players you want to see a significant jump going into the 2025 season. Tech McKinley, another preseason darling who we fell in love with, played just 130 snaps, 11% before he got cut. Jalen Holmes played 103 snaps. Braden McGregor from Michigan, pretty much a lesser version of Eric Watts is all he was. And the injury that really hurt him was when JJ went down in game 2 in Tennessee. The Jets never recovered from it, and that's why players like Michael Clemens had to get more playing time. Played only 7% of the snaps for the year. And if he played only 7% of the snaps for the year, you know he was playing a ton early on. It's just a shame it didn't work out. I think that's actually a decimal here. Let me make sure on that. Yeah, it's 1% of the snaps that he played. It was 0.007 is what JJ actually played. So that's the actual math there. So there should be a decimal point in there. So yeah, that's what that's what these guys played. On to defensive tackle, Quinnen Williams, 724 snaps, 63% of the time. I don't think he was quite the same player that he was last season. Was good. I didn't think he was as good. Javon Kinlaw, 697 snaps, finished right behind Quinnen. Solomon Thomas, 458, played 40%. Leonard Taylor, another guy that we all wanted to keep. He probably looked the best of any of the rookie defensive linemen, played 261 snaps, 23% of the time. Had a couple of moments here and there, but has to show a little bit more consistency. Bruce Hector stepped in, played with a little bit of nastiness. I think we saw that in Miami on Sunday. Played pretty hard, had a couple of run stops. So he got 118 snaps in. Lucky Fotu was just injured, played 46 snaps and got hurt again. Just one of those signings that absolutely did not work out. And we won't know how it would have worked out because he just kept getting hurt. It just didn't take. And then at linebacker, Quincy Williams played 1,138 snaps. Missed only 10 snaps on defense all year. There we go. There's the Quincy fist for you. Jamian Sherwood, 1,065 snaps, played 93% of the time, and it would have been a lot more had C.J. Mosley, when C.J. went down, Jamian was playing practically the entire time. Chaz Surratt, 137 snaps, C.J. Mosley, only 110. Just a tough year for him as he is going to try to rehab his neck injury and come back next year. Sam Eguavoen, mostly a special teams player, played 75 snaps, and Marcelino McCreary-Ball got 3 snaps in. So that's your front 7. Now, as far as the secondary goes, there's some surprising numbers here. Sauce Gardner, only 77% of the snaps, played 880, the same number that DJ Reed played, also 880. And then the next cornerback is Isaiah Oliver, who's going to be a free agent, played 578 snaps, just over 50%. Brandon Eccles would be in, then he'd be out. It's like, Eccles was used weird. The way that the staff used Eccles, he would either not play or he'd play the whole game. It wasn't a situation where he would just come in for 10, 20 snaps. No, they used him all the way or they didn't use him at all. 407 snaps, played 35% of the time. Michael Carter II was injured all year after signing his contract, was never right, had a lot of games when he would have 5 snaps, 10 snaps, had only 286 for the whole season after playing nearly the entire season last year. And after that, you have Kendall Sheffield with 92, Qantas Stiggers with 49. This was more of a redshirt year for him. Jarek Bernard Converse. There's another player, another preseason player that Jet fans really got into. He got only 6 snaps. It is amazing. The Jets did really well in the preseason. It is amazing how many players, especially on this defense, played really well during those 3 games and then did next to nothing during the regular season. So if there's a lesson to be learned here, it's don't get suckered in during July and August. And then in the safety room, it's a position that needs an upgrade. Tony Adams played 766 snaps. That was a team high at 67%. Chuck Clark did what he could, played 709 snaps, 62% of the time, finished the year on IR. Jalen Mills, who I think was a very good under-the-radar signing, 458 snaps, played 40%. His season ended prematurely as well, and now he hits the open market. Ashton Davis, another free agent. All of these guys are free agents. Adams is restricted. Clark, Mills, and Davis are all unrestricted. And Monroe, we'll see what happens. But yeah, the 4 safeties are all free agents to some extent. So you might see an entirely new safety room next season for the green and white. And Ashton Davis played 261 snaps, 23% of the time. Say what you want about him. He's not a great player, but he has a tendency for takeaways and for tackling hard. There is something to be said for that. So while he's a limited player, what he does do pretty well. All right. So let's get out of there. All right. Now I'm good. Before we get into the awards, I'm going to do a recap of some of my predictions that I made at the beginning of the year, both for the Jets and for the season. I'm going to run through these kind of quickly because here's the deal. I hold myself accountable. I'll tell you when I'm right. I'll tell you when I'm wrong. So here's some of the season predictions I had. And if you're drinking anything right now, I advise you to swallow quickly because you may be prone to a spit take with some of this shit, okay? One prediction I had, in mid-August, Hassan Reddick will sign a 1-year deal and record 7.5 sacks. He had 1. Danger off topic. Do you have a PC or a Mac? I use a Windows PC. I just have a laptop. I don't have any Apple products. Now that the iPods aren't really made anymore, I use a PC. So I said Aaron Rodgers would set Jets records in yards and touchdowns with 4,007 yards and 31 touchdowns. He did not quite get to either of those. Fished, I think, over 3,900 yards, but a little bit short on the touchdowns. Breece Hall would get 2,000 all-purpose yards. That's 118 per game. No. I said Garrett Wilson would score double-digit touchdowns. He had 7 in his first 2 years. No, he had 7. I said the Jets would trade for Devontae Adams during the season. That turned out to be correct. I said Tyler Conklin would have the 3rd most pass receptions behind Garrett and Breece. He came in 4th. You got to throw Lazard in there. I said Olu Fashanu would play 6 games. Yeah, that was pretty close. I predicted the Jets would have 50 sacks. They had 45 2 years ago and 48 last year. I thought the number would go up because they would actually be playing with leads. They didn't even get 40 this year. Once JJ went down, that hurt it quite a bit. And I said the Pro Bowlers would be Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, Quincy Williams, and Sauce Gardner. 0 for 4, not a single freaking Pro Bowler. Okay, and a couple of other season awards. I said Marvin Harrison Jr. would be Offensive Rookie of the Year. Well, it looks like Daniels, Bowers, Nix, and Brian Thomas are all ahead of him. That didn't work out too well. Defensive Rookie of the Year, I said Quinyon Mitchell, the Eagles cornerback. He's got a chance there. It's either going to be him or it's going to be Jared Verse. Offensive Player of the Year, Jamar Chase. Contract coming up, something to prove. And he has been the best wide receiver in football this year, I would say. It's either going to be him or Saquon Barkley. Defensive Player of the Year, I said it'd be Aiden Hutchinson. And I think it would have been if he hadn't broken his leg halfway through the year. He already had 11 sacks when he got hurt. Comeback Player of the Year, said it'd be Aaron Rodgers or Joe Burrow. It'll probably be Burrow. MVP or Sam Darnold. MVP, I said it'd be Joe Burrow. Well, I think he'll be in the top 5, but a lot of that is not because of his lack of performance. It's because the Bengals as a team did not make the playoffs. Coach of the Year, I said it'd be Dan Campbell. It'll be him or Kevin O'Connell. And finally, my Super Bowl prediction. I said it would be Lions over Ravens, and that could very well happen. As far as the championship games go, the teams that I predicted they will beat, let's just say neither of them made the playoffs this year, being the Jets and the 49ers. But my Super Bowl prediction is very much alive. Okay, and so a couple of other let's get into the awards right now. So here's what we're gonna do. Let's add our awards slide. There we go. So ladies and gentlemen, Jet fans, I want to welcome you to the 2024 New York Jets Award Ceremony. Apparently the awards are on BET. All right. So I think I can loop that for a little while. So I'll just play a little background music there. Okay, so for the 2024 New York Jets Award. So I'm going to show you the award, and then I'm going to tell you who the winner is. So let's start with the Offensive MVP Award. And you know what? Let's go focus. All right, Offensive MVP. Now, you don't have a ton of possibilities here. The running game wasn't all that good. Aaron Rodgers did not play quite how he wanted to. Offensive line had its moments here and there. But at the end of the day, there's really only one winner for Offensive MVP. And the winner is... Oh. I think I hit the rim shot. There we go. All right. Garrett Wilson is the Offensive MVP, and so we congratulate him for this milestone achievement. 101 catches, 1,104 yards, 7 touchdowns on the year. This is his 3rd straight 1,000-yard season. The last time any Jet did that was George Sauer back in the late 60s. Harlan's got to go pick up his drugs. Okay. Yep. All right. Just use them in controlled supply now because, he might be coming to my place next. He had a 65.6 catch percentage. And why I wanted to mention that is up 9% from the last 2 years. One of the criticisms of Garrett Wilson is that he had to get open to make the catch, but he taking away contested catches more so this year. So the fact that his catch percentage went up 9% from last year to this year, I know that he went from Zach Wilson and Tim Boyle and Trevor Siemian to Aaron Rodgers, but there is something to be said for that. So congratulations to Garrett Wilson. On to the defensive MVP. And the winner there is, or the loser, depending on how you want to phrase it, the winner, of MVP is Javian Sherwood. He stepped in for C.J. Mosley, 158 tackles, including 98 solo tackles. That was a league high, and now he's a free agent. After 4 years in the league, he could not have picked a better time to be a free agent. He made a little over $1 million this year. He's going to get a nice bump this year. And I'll tell you, if Joe Douglas was still here, I don't have any doubt that this would be getting done in the next 2 weeks. With a new general manager coming in on board, I really don't know what's going to happen here. I feel it's like, instead of being 90-10, I feel like it's, a 60-40 sort of situation. But I hope number 44 comes back for sure. Let's go to the other side. The offensive least valuable player. The winner is Mike Williams. 9 games, 166 measly yards, and not a single touchdown. When the Jets got him, one of the reasons that a lot of us were excited is, his size. He had the ability to catch balls in traffic. He's always been very good at that. Well, his catch percentage was only 57.1. That's the lowest it had been in 5 years. And the Jets gave up on him, traded for a 5th. And yes, he had a big touchdown catch the first week he was there in Pittsburgh. And ever since then, he's done practically nothing. So he had one good catch for Pittsburgh. Let's see if he does anything in the playoffs against Baltimore this week. But right now, it's like, okay, we got a 5th-round pick. Cool. Let's go on to the defensive least valuable player. Plenty of nominees here, but my winner is Javon Kinlaw. All right, and here's why I'm doing this. 17 games, only 4.5 sacks, 40 tackles. That's basically 2 a game. Took 8 penalties. He was the Jets' most penalized player who is not a cornerback. All we heard in the offseason was the 30 pounds of muscle that he put on. He was eating 9 chicken breasts and 36 eggs and, a couple handfuls of spinach. He was becoming Popeye in the offseason. Well, it sure as hell didn't show up in the games. All right, Javon Kinlaw went from a 300-pound disappointment to a 330-pound disappointment. I expected a lot. I expected more from Javon Kinlaw. Not that he'd be a Pro Bowler, but, oh, my goodness, he was an absolute liability on that defensive line. Let's go to the best acquisition. All right. Wow, wait, this was Javon's career season. I know. How sad is that? Oh, my gosh, that was sad. So the best acquisition, I was going to do best free agent, but I realized I had to expand it to trades and free agents. So the best acquisition, the winner is John Simpson, the left guard. 2 years, $12 million, an absolute bargain of a signing, allowed just a 3.8% pressure rate. And he really showed that fiery leadership. Look at him breaking down the pregame huddles. Took a few penalties along the way, but for an offensive line that last year really struggled to protect the quarterback, John Simpson did a lot to really help stabilize it. A very, very good signing. And then on the other side, we got to do the worst acquisition. Yep, we could have a couple of nominees here as well. Yep, Wild Wave knew it. Yep. All right, so now we go to the worst acquisition of the season. There's a reason this player did not win defensive least valuable player, because he didn't play enough to even qualify. This particular player did. The winner for worst acquisition of the offseason is Hassan Reddick. And truthfully, I really wanted one more excuse to show this picture of this numbskull in Japan with the kimono on. My God, apparently his soul is still there. This absolute stiff, this selfish stiff, played 10 games, had 2 half sacks, not even 1 full sack, 3 quarterback hits. 3. This is a Pro Bowler the last 2 seasons in Philadelphia. Had he reported on time after the trade and not listened to the people around him, or suddenly got in his head that he could do whatever the hell he wanted, come back and basically be Deacon Jones, Reggie White, and Lawrence Taylor all rolled into one, maybe these numbers look a little bit better. What's his next contract worth? I can tell you this. It doesn't have a hell of a lot of guaranteed money on it. It better have a lot of incentives for sacks. And I can tell you this. He won't be signing the freaking contract in Florham Park, New Jersey. Hassan Reddick. What a stiff he was. Oh, my God. On to the most improved player. But yeah, let's just, I need a little bit of a pick-me-up after that one. Number of players took a step up this year. But for me, there is one player who stands out. So the winner for most improved Jet of 2024 is Will McDonald. Look at the jump in numbers from 2023, and this is just his second year. Last year, 4.5 sacks, 5 quarterback hits, 4 tackles for a loss. Well, wait, just so you know, I didn't give any Jet 2 awards. So I gave Jamian defensive most valuable player. I gave this one to Will McDonald. So that's the one catch. 2024, 10.5 sacks. Yes, he got a lot more playing time, but 24 quarterback hits, 5 times as many, 11 tackles for a loss, plus he forced 2 fumbles. And let's be frank, he created a lot of pressures on quarterbacks where he was getting held, being driven down to the ground. So he showed that even with Jermaine Johnson out and Hassan Reddick basically being a ghost for all season, he really stepped up when he was pretty much the main target when it came to pass rushing. So I give him a lot of credit, and hopefully with a better defensive line next to him, he could take an even bigger step come 2025. On to the most disappointing player of 2024. Well, you can pretty much nominate certain units in here, right? There's wide receivers, there's tight ends, you could talk about the quarterback if you wanted to. There's players in the secondary for sure. And Danger makes a good point about Will McDonald, 4.5% sacks and 16% of snaps. Absolutely true and a good point. Danger Smith thinks it's Tyron Smith. You know what? That is a very, very worthy candidate. But for me, he was my runner-up. There is one player who deserves it just a little bit more. I didn't give it to Tyron Smith because we knew he was getting up there in age anyway. The winner for most disappointing Jet in 2024 is Greg Zuerlein. How could I not give it to Greg Zuerlein? 2023 made 92% of his field goals and was super, super clutch. This year, 60%. His field goal rate dropped by a third. Was only 4 for 6 under 40. It's not even a situation where he was making the short ones and missing 50-yarders. No, he missed 2 out of 6 from under 40 and plenty of clutch kicks. All you need to do is look at that game against Denver when he missed it. And I think deep down, we knew it felt like at that point, it was not going to be the season that we all hoped for. Honestly, just look at him. Doesn't he look like like a reject from a Bond villain? With that ridiculously shaped bald head, the stone look on his face. Oh my God. Danger, the one advantage is nobody's going to recognize him anyway, unless they see this. Oh my God. Greg Zuerlein, what a letdown he was. A prime cut candidate this offseason. Let's go to Rookie of the Year. Well, not a whole lot of drama on this one. I think we pretty much you could go 2 different ways, really. But the winner for me for Jets Rookie of the Year is Olu Fashanu. I thought for a little bit about Braylon Allen, but for me, I felt he kind of fell off just a little bit. I think Fashanu deserves a lot of attention. He played guard for the first time in his life this season when the Jets really needed some help at the guard position. He allowed just a 5.6% pressure rate at left tackle. That is 5th best at the position. The only ones who did better, 5th position at tackle, only ones who were better, Terron Armstead, Walker Little, Garrett Bowles, and Tristan Wirfs. And for a while, Olu was second right behind Wirfs as well. 3 of those 4 players I mentioned were named to an all-pro team. The future is super bright for number 74. And you know what? You'll still hear from the Brock Bowers brigade. And, yep, that'd be all well and good. But ultimately, the left tackle is, it's always going to be a more important position. So, Olu Fashanu, I'm glad he fell a little bit in the draft. And even though the Jets really weren't looking at him, they were looking at wide receiver. They were looking at Neighbors. They were looking at a Dunze. couldn't quite make it work. So Fashanu almost felt like a consolation prize, and what a consolation prize this is. Olu Timon is a promising core. Extend ABT. You can piece together the rest for years to come. You absolutely can. And that is something that is very, very – it's amazing. It took Joe Douglas this long to get the offensive line right. It took him basically 5 years. And that's when they fire him, is once he gets the offensive line correct. And a lot of it was injuries. A lot of it was dumb luck. And again, guys like Laken Tomlinson just busting. But you know what? I can't even call Mekhi Becton a bust because all he had to do was go somewhere where they actually coach players. And now he's the right guard on one of the best offensive lines in football, a top 3 offensive line in the game. I can't even call Becton a complete bust if I'm being honest with you. So that's what that is. So credit to Olu. All right, now let's go to the best game. Best game of the year for me is the Week 3 24-3 win in New England. There was like no stress in this game. The Jets dominated from pillar to post. You know, it was one of those games where it was like, oh my gosh, how high are our prospects? How high could this go? Turns out that was as high as we were ever going to get. We kicked the Patriots' ass, and then it was never the same. Worst game, yeah. 1 week later, that's all you have to do. The 10-9 loss to Denver, and you see Greg Zuerlein there in the background after he missed that field goal, which would have won the game. Not saying it all came down to him, but he still blew it. And Jeremy Ruckert with his hands on his knees, looking absolutely forlorn. And it was never the same after that. Next week, they lose to Minnesota in London, and Robert Saleh gets fired. And nothing was ever the same again. To be fair, Zach Wilson was the reason the offensive line got hurt to begin with. Well, I don't know. I don't know. I can't really say that for Becton. I mean, Becton just got hurt, you know, in training camp, as I remember. But I don't know. It had something to do with it, but yeah, I don't know. You could say Zach was the reason why the whole offense failed, but we don't need to revisit Zach Wilson, in all fairness. So, yeah, I had the best game and the worst game back-to-back weeks. Best play of the year. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of drama on this one. The winner for best play of the year goes to Garrett Wilson with the one-handed catch against the Houston Texans on Halloween night. What an amazing play this was. Here it is, the new logo of the NFL, probably a future bobblehead that the Jets will be selling on their website. You know, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, made Michael Jordan look ordinary in that catch. Just a really impressive moment. And then we go to the worst play of the year. Now, yeah, Dane, the wide reverse, double reverse pass to Rodgers. Oh, wait. Don't you just hate ESPN, guys? Don't you hate them for highlighting that play? Jets trick play does not go as scheduled. They have to highlight that on their video section. Yeah, the play didn't work. The Jets still kicked Miami's ass that game. My God. Got a nice turnout, by the way, in the chat, guys. Just want to say a quick thanks to everybody who's dropping in. Please hit that thumbs up. Remember, we get to 15 likes. We're going to spin the wheel a little bit later on, and it'll be our first wheel of the year 2025. So if you want to spin the wheel, you got to click the thumb. And yep, still 8 mere subscribers away from 1,000. So close. Please like, share, and subscribe. Okay, enough of that. And now we go to the worst play of the year. And I spent some time thinking about this. It's hard to boil this down to just one play. And I wasn't going to include a missed field goal on this one because to me, it's just too simple to do that. I thought about the Darnold interception in Minnesota. That was probably the runner-up, I would say, because that led to basically to the roof caving in. Danger with an interesting point, Jermaine's injury. Yeah, you can make that case as well. For me, though, I'm going to go a little bit later in the season, and I know the season was not over, but it was fading, but there was still a chance to save it. And for me, it's when Keyshawn Boutte of the New England Patriots beat Sauce Gardner and basically took it right down the field. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else you could say. What else you could say about that? That was a game they never should have lost. They let Jacoby Brissett come down the field twice in under 3 minutes each time, and the Jets lost the game to a crappy Patriots team they never, ever should have lost to. And Sauce Gardner should never be getting beat by freaking Keyshawn Boutte. Please. It was absolutely inexcusable what happened there. So I'm going with Keyshawn Booty beating Sauce Gardner, getting the Patriots down to the 5-yard line, and after that, it was basically game, set, match as Ramondre Stevenson ran it in for a touchdown. Okay, can we play more press man next year, please? Yes, I would like to see more of that for sure. Cameron Trammell, how you doing, man? Hope you're having a good hump day. Happy humping to you and yours. Yep. We are doing the season-ending award show for the New York Jets, and you are just in time for the unit grades. That's right. We are going to grade the offense, the defense, the special teams, and the coaching, all 4 of them. We're going to do this like they used to do it on the Jets postgame live, when Ray Lucas, Mike Westhoff, Joe Klecko, when Adam Shine were all there. So we're gonna kind of do it like that. All right. So, let's see. Do we have a little bit of news here? Let's see. It looks like there's a little bit of news. Jordan Love was limited. The Bears have completed an interview with Mike Vrabel. All right. Ken Farshti is subscribed on YouTube. Yeah, thanks, Ken. Welcome aboard. I appreciate it. All right. Offense's grade. Well, let's think about it. Aaron Rodgers gave us like up and down play, really. The running game wasn't great, although I really like the running backs. Garrett Wilson was very good, as was Devontae when he came over. Past that, the wide receivers basically stunk. These tight ends are useless. The offensive line took a big step forward, especially pass blocking once Olu Fashanu replaced Tyron Smith. AVT, by the way, another AVT stat. He had a 4.3% pressure grade. That is the 3rd best among right tackles. The doubts about him are over. Over. The only question about AVT is injuries, which can happen to anybody. But there can be no more questions. Elijah Vera-Tucker can freaking play guard. And maybe it helped that they actually left him at one position this year. Maybe that helped. I'm just saying. So with all that in mind, my grade for the New York Jets offense with their just wonderful coaching staff is a C-. I think there were some good things. You have some promising signs with a couple of core pieces on the offensive line, a great 1-2 punch at wide receiver, but there were just too many times they could not put it together where Rodgers and the receivers were not on the same page. I expected a lot more from the running game. They had their moments when they looked dominant. There's no doubt about that. But remember, they didn't score a touchdown for like the first 3 months of the season on their opening drive. So to me, there were still it was a little bit less than average. There were enough good signs where I can't kill it, but still, it had to be better than what it was. So I give the offense a C-. Now on to the defense. Well, I don't think there's any denying that they took a major step back. Don't be fooled by the yards allowed per game. This team constantly came apart when the money was on the line. Just look at the New England game that we just talked about. When they allowed 2 3-minute touchdown drives in the 4th quarter against Jacoby Brissett. Come on. The simple question I'll ask you about the defense. Think about everybody who plays on this defense. What players met or exceeded your expectations this year? How many did? Will McDonald? Yeah, he did. He had a big improvement. Outside of him, who? Who are you surprised at for the better? Jamie Sherwood? He was fine. He played pretty well. But everybody in the secondary basically got hurt, which was not an issue last year. Last year, Sauce, Reed, and MC2, they played the whole season. They would play 100% of the snaps nearly every game. Not this year. It was anything but, as we talked about earlier tonight. So and a major drop in sacks as well. The run defense was still putrid. So to me, you had a few things went right. Basically, it was McDonald and Sherwood. Yet Wildway mentioning Sherwood as well, for sure. So to me, my grade for the defense is going to be a D. That is as good as I can give it. I can't completely fail it, but not enough takeaways, too many penalties. You had 2 or 3 players I thought who played well, and maybe the injuries I could give them a little bit of a break, but just way too many players who underachieved. And I do think, though, it would have, I think I give him a little bit of grace for the simple reason that Robert Saleh got fired. Once Jeff Ulbrich was promoted, the defense could not be coached the way that it needed to be. So I think that's the only reason I did not give them an F, is because I don't think they had the coaching they needed to. Can we shoot Max Mitchell to them? Yeah, he'd be Max Moon, the old WWE character. He'd be Max Moon, right? Maybe we could just send him to Buffalo. They'd love to take our crappy, washed-up offensive linemen. Ducasse, Winters, McGovern. That's a Buffalo specialty right there. All right, special teams grade. You know I got to grade the special teams, okay? So let's think about it. Greg Zuerlein, oh dear God, have mercy on us. We had 5 kickers. Thomas Morstead, he was okay. Return game, it was okay. I thought coverage game was pretty solid. Irv Charles, very, very good player, really emerged as a solid special teams contributor this season. Once he went down, the kickoff coverage did get hurt as well. As far as special teams go, my grade for them is, I'm giving them a D. The only reason that I didn't fail them is that I did have 1 kickoff return touchdown by Kene in the loss to Seattle. Outside of that, this unit took a ton of steps back. You know, losing players like Justin Hardy, Kenny Yeboah being hurt, that cost them a lot. Losing Nick Barden, who was a good special teams player for him as well. There were a lot of new pieces, a lot of young players, and they just didn't come together very well. But at the end of the day, it comes down to the kicking and Greg Zuerlein failing as hard as he did. Anders Carlson not doing the job either, you know? So, yeah, when you go through 5 kickers, things are not going very well. I give them a D. And then finally, the coaching grade. Man, it's already 7 o'clock. This is going to be a long show tonight. All right. Okay, yeah, buckle your seatbelts, boys and girls, because we got a lot more to get to tonight. The coaching grade. How much do I even need to say anything about this coaching staff? I don't even want to build it up. I've been nice most of the night as far as these grades go. I'm going to do it Ray Lucas. I'm going to do this Ray and Lucas style. F, with a little bit of extra emphasis on the F. Y-E-F-F-F-F-F-F-F-F. That is the grade this coaching staff gets. I don't know of any team that I have ever watched in any sport who got so little out of their talent because the coaching sucked this bad. Unbelievable how bad this coaching staff was. Whether it's not managing the clock, whether it's not using timeouts, whether it's the team coming out completely unprepared, unable to make adjustments, the most clueless press conferences I have heard in forever. Jeff Ulbrich calling Hassan Reddick one of the most unselfish players he's ever been around. I mean, my God, Jeff Ulbrich's nose is so long, you can play pool with the darn thing. I'm trying to keep it G here, guys. G. And while I made this point before, man. Max is a right tackle. Warren is a left tackle. You expect them to get developed under this step? Absolutely. When they went in, they were being put in opposite positions from where they should have been put. Just another example. My God. Are there a few decent coaches on the staff? Yes. There's a couple of them. Aaron White-Cotton, Ron Middleton, Sean Jefferson, Brant Boyer. You know, there's some good ones. But there's nobody who I'm thinking we got to keep them. Not a single one of them. All right, guys. Man, that took longer than I expected. That's what she said. Okay, so let's go on to the news. We're going to talk a little bit about the GM and the coach search and what's going on. So a couple of quick notes before I really get into the GM stuff. So Woody Johnson has already said he will let the general manager and head coach decide on Aaron Rodgers' future with the team. I agree with that. That is the right move to make. GM and coach will be hired before Aaron Rodgers makes a decision. Devontae Adams said he may be tied to Rodgers. He may not be tied to Rodgers. Translation, he's tied to Aaron Rodgers. Tyron Smith is considering retirement. CJ Mosley is not considering retirement. But going into the offseason, the Jets have $29.4 million in cap space. And if you look at effective space after you factor in a draft, it's about $20.4 million. That's 20th in the league. So they have some space, but they're nowhere near where New England or the Raiders are. The Patriots have about $130 million in cap space. It's absolutely ridiculous. But remember, $38.3 million of their cap is devoted to Devontae Adams next year. None of the money is guaranteed. Okay, so count on Adams being cut and renegotiated with, or he just leaves completely, because there's no dead cap hit if you just let Adams go, apparently. From what I'm seeing on overthecap.com. The only dead money currently on the cap, one other note on this, the only dead money on the cap is to Mike Williams, and it's $6 million. That's it. Right now, that's the only dead cap the Jets are dealing with. This past year, they had like 9-10 players who had a dead cap hit. So that's definitely a step in the right direction. While away with the question, what are your thoughts on Woody not giving the state of the New York Jets press conference and passing it off to Ulbrich? I don't really care, because every time Woody talks, he basically makes an ass out of himself. I think Woody will talk after the general manager and coach get hired, because he'll want to talk about the future and not about the past. I do feel bad for Ulbrich that he was put in that position. At least, you know what? At least that Phil Savage talk. It wouldn't be the same, but, at least Savage has a chance to maybe stay around. Ulbrich, forget about it. But again, the less I hear Woody Johnson talk, the happier I am. All right, let's talk about the GM search. So there's only 2 teams in the NFL looking for a general manager. You got the Jets and you got the Titans. Tennessee let Rand Carthon go on Tuesday. Now, Tennessee, you could say, could have a more appealing offer, but because they have the number 1 pick. But here's the catch. They're keeping Brian Callahan as head coach. Only the Jets have openings at both general manager and head coach, which can make the job more attractive. All right. And speaking of coach interviews, I find it interesting the Jags are going to be interviewing Robert Saleh. It's a coward move, but it's a safe move as well. And to be honest, what's Woody really going to tell me that I really care about? He did the interview with Brian Costello. All right. That was his exclusive. And he answered one question to the entire press after the Miami game. So is it a coward move? Sure, you can make the argument. But again, what do I really want to hear him say? Titans are interviewing Terrence Gray. What? Terrence Gray? Oh, the Bills' director of player personnel. Oh, okay. Okay, gotcha. I was like, I didn't even know who Terrence Gray was for a second there. Okay, gotcha. All right, so a couple of things here. So here is who the Jets have interviewed already. Mike Borgonzi from Kansas City, Thomas Dimitroff, mostly with Atlanta, Alec Halaby, he's the assistant general manager in Philadelphia. Both Borgonzi and Halaby were interviewed today. They've also interviewed Jim Nagy, who handles the Senior Bowl, Louis Riddick from ESPN, and I don't need anybody with the last name Reddick. I don't know. And John Robinson from Tennessee. All right, so that's who they've interviewed. They've also put in requests for a bunch of other people. Trey Brown, he's from Cincinnati, senior personnel member there. Ray Farmer from the LA Rams, also in personnel, senior executive there. Brian Gain from the Bills, Buffalo assistant general manager. Mike Greenberg, not the one from ESPN. This is the Tampa Bay assistant who's from Long Island. Ryan Grigson, the Minnesota vice president of player personnel. Then you have John Eric Sullivan, Green Bay vice president of personnel, and Chris Spielman, who's the assistant to the owner in Detroit. So interesting that his brother is helping out with the search, and now he's going to be interviewing Chris. So we'll see what winds up happening there. If you're asking me who I would want to get, I really don't care. How much do we really know about most of these people outside of Dimitroff, who had his hits, had his misses, but you know what? Every general manager has hits and misses. Brett Veach, Nick DeCosta, Howie Roseman, John Lynch, you name me the best general managers in the NFL, and I can point to you an absolute bust that they drafted or traded for. All right, so don't look for a perfect resume, because I got news for you. You're not going to find it. But we'll see where this goes. I did hear Costello on a podcast says he could see this hire happening in the next 3 weeks, definitely by the end of January. So, hey, if it's done by the Super Bowl, I think it needs to be done by the Super Bowl. That way you could go right in and start interviewing head coach candidates. I don't expect a coach to get hired until February. So we'll see what happens. The one name that I don't understand, why is Ray Agnew not on this list? There have been no rumors about him whatsoever, and that would be somebody I'd be interested in. Ray Agnew in Detroit, working hand in hand with Brad Holmes to help build up that Detroit roster. I don't understand why there hasn't been any news about the Jets putting a request in for him. But they're putting into Detroit a request to the assistant to the owner? Seems a little bit strange to me, unless Agnew has made an announcement that he's not going to be interested. NFL has announced Vikings Rams is being planned for LA. There is a contingency plan. In this instance, the game would be played on Monday night in State Farm Stadium, Monday night in Glendale, Arizona. Okay, so first of all the best to everybody in the Palisades area dealing with everything that they are dealing with. Hopefully they get the help that they need and deserve. But yeah, so if the game can't be played on Monday, the game is going to be moved to Glendale, Arizona. So that is just in from the NFL. All right. So that's what's up with the GM situation. I hope Ray Agnew's name comes out this week. I will say that. As far as the coach search goes, well, here's what we're looking at. You got 6 teams with a head coach opening. You got the Jets, you got the Jaguars, you got the Patriots, you got the Raiders, you got the Bears, and you got the Saints. Now let's break this down into a couple of categories. So these are the current coaching candidates. Now the ones I put an asterisk next to are the ones who the Jets have already interviewed. So they've interviewed Matt Nagy. They interviewed him today. Ron Rivera, Rex Ryan, and Mike Vrabel. Here's the coaching candidates that they've requested to speak to: Joe Brady, Brian Flores, Aaron Glenn, Brian Greasy, Vance Joseph, Josh McCown, Darren Reese, Bobby Slowick, Arthur Smith, and Steve Spagnuolo. So right now we've got 14 candidates as of right now. Interesting. No Todd Monken, who I would be interested in, and no Pete Carroll either. Now, if you're asking me what my preferences are, now earlier, about a month ago, I did my top 5 head coach candidates. Now, some of the names have changed. Ben Johnson will not be interviewing with the Jets, and you know what? I'm fine with it. The more I think about it, let's think about what Ben Johnson really has to work with. Ben Johnson has the best offensive line in football, an amazing 1-2 punch at wide receiver, a top, I would say, 3 receiving tight end, an amazing 1-2 punch at running back, and a quarterback who can throw the ball far and pretty accurately. Kind of hard to not be successful. Plus, I hear, he's very quiet. I just don't think that it's a fit. I expect him to go to maybe, say, Jacksonville or Chicago. I don't think it's a fit with the Jets. So you know what? I'm good with it. I'm good with the Jets not talking to him. So at this point, I'm going to give you my revised top 5. Now, I'm not saying I really, really want all of these guys, but right now, of the names I'm seeing here, this is my top 5. So this is my revised preferences. Mike Vrabel, Brian Flores at 1-2, that has not changed. I'm liking the idea of Aaron Glenn more and more. And one of the things with Aaron Glenn, so he is actually interviewing Thursday with the Jets. The Jets are going to be the first team Aaron Glenn interviews with. Now, of course, the Bears and Saints are interested in him as well. But I want to read you 2 quotes about Aaron Glenn. This is from Amik Robertson, quarterback for the Lions. This is what he said about Aaron Glenn. You're able to go out there and play comfortable if you know there's a coach out there that believes in you. And when you get a person like that, you want to play for them. You want to run through a wall for them. When you got coaches like that, you want to go out there and do good, because if you looking good, I read a quote, they looking good and we all looking good, man. So it almost sounds like he's talking about Rex Ryan in a way. But continuing the quote, he doesn't have, let me see here. Oh, this quote is from Dan Campbell on Aaron Glenn, head coach of the Lions. He doesn't have bad days. He's not one of these guys. He can get pissed off. Believe me, he's a fiery guy, but he just doesn't live like that. Everything is, hey, you tell me what it is. You tell me what we got, and we're going to make it work, and we're going to make the most of it, and we'll be good. And he's just positive, upbeat, a grinder. I can't say enough great words about him. Everybody respects him, and those guys play hard for him. That's somebody I want to hire. Okay? Aaron Glenn is the only reason I have hesitation on him is he is not a first-time head coach. And I don't know if he can handle it. But if I had to go with the first-time coordinator, Aaron Glenn is about the only one I have legitimate interest in. Joe Brady, I still like the idea of hiring him. I think he's real. Josh Allen has taken a major step up since he came along and started revising the offense. The run game for Buffalo has looked a lot better with him in place as well. And the fact that he did fail in Carolina and has had some time to basically stew on it, if he gets another chance, I think he'll be that much better for it. Now, as far as Matt Nagy goes, look, it's a bit of a distance between 4 and 5 for me. Okay, but I'll tell you some of the things about Nagy that why I'd be open to it. He is a Jersey native. He's still young. He's 46. He had a winning record with the Bears, which does say something. He went 12-4 with Mitch Trubisky and won Coach of the Year in 2018. He's had a lot of time under Andy Reid. He knows a big market, okay? Now, he never really recovered from that double doink, the Cody Parkey double doink in the playoffs that lost to Philadelphia. And Trubisky never really developed on his watch. And the offense in Chicago, at best, was 21st. So there are some worries there. So the Jets have just completed the interview with Mike Borgonzi. Well, Marty, frickin' da. Okay, great. So for me, I don't love Nagy, but I would take a chance on him because he does have the experience. Liam Cohen has had 1 year as an offensive coordinator. I see Wild Wave putting that there. Why is Liam Cohen all of a sudden such a great head coach candidate? He's had 1 year as the Tampa Bay OC. Maybe there's something I'm missing here. You know what? Let him go to Jacksonville. That might make more sense. I don't see it working out with the Jets at all. Personality-wise, I don't know a lot about him, but I just don't see what it is that makes him such a great candidate. As far as when the second wave comes, I think it's going to be after the GM gets hired. I think Tannenbaum and Rick Spielman are doing the initial wave of interviews now. And then once you have the GM in place and you go back to narrowing it down, you pick 4 to 6 candidates, somewhere in that area, 4 to 5, 6 at the most. And then you have in-person interviews, one-on-one, and then you make your decision. That's what I expect to have happen. Wild Wave doesn't differ too much for me. He's got Flores a little bit lower. All right, that's fair. I just like Flores. I like his ability to galvanize the team and get his players to play at their best for him. And didn't end well in Miami. But again, when you have an opportunity to learn from your mistakes, you generally can. And if you're a good enough coach, you will. Adam Gase never had a chance to do that. Eric Mangini never had a chance to do that. I love him, but Rex Ryan never had a chance to do that. And that's on them because they took jobs and they took them very quickly. And I love Rex, but I think we could get the Rex effect without hiring Rex. Put it that way. And again, if we were to hire Rex, I wouldn't be livid. I'm not going to say circus. Nor would I say, okay, we're definitely back. But he has to bring in a top-level offensive coordinator in with him. I am fine with Rex being the overall cheerleader guy and defensive wizard. I am fine with that, but I don't want him even touching the offense. Get the best offensive coordinator you can, pair him with Rex, make that offensive coordinator like an associate head coach, and we can go from there. And you might only have that coach 2 years. That's one of the things that worries me. So I feel like Rex would be about 1 year, 2 years at the most. And I'm just not willing to do that. And that's why I'm a little bit worried about Pete Carroll too. He's in his 70s. Good of a coach as he is, as good of a culture creator as he is, can he really do that? Can he really make it happen? I would like somebody who's going to be here more than 2 years. So that's my thought as far as that goes. Yeah. So, all right. So let's get out of there. Okay, guys. Well, I'll tell you what. It is 7:15, just about. And, yeah, we went through a whole lot of stuff tonight. I don't even know what we're going to do next week. Maybe we'll start talking about – I think we're going to talk about free agents a little bit. The Jets have 20 free agents. We'll talk about them a little bit. Maybe we'll take an early look at team needs, something like that. But right now, it's time to have a little fun. And you know what we do towards the end of every episode. Every week, I head into the labyrinth of Jets knowledge. I bust open the books. I open up the Encyclopedia Britannica. I pull up the websites, and I, Watts2K99, challenge you, the most loyal fans of the most loyal franchise in all of the NFL. Just how much do you know about your New York Jets? So if you are ready, you know what we got to do. You know what we got to do. Let's play Jets Trivia. right. So now we are done doing questions that are all about the upcoming opponent. Now we're going to start to turn our attention to, coach trivia. We'll look at draft trivia. Those draft trivia questions are always a whole lot of fun. And it could just be like pretty much any topic under the moon. Some weeks they'll be easier. Some weeks they'll be a little bit more challenging. But this is going to be tonight's question, and it's going to relate to one of the men that the New York Jets have already interviewed to be their head coach. So you know the rules. 5 minutes on the clock. Put your answers down there in the chat on what you think the correct answer is, and I'll let you know if you get it correct. All right? And, I think you all finished the regular season 12 correct and 6 incorrect. So you got 2 out of 3 correct for the 18 weeks of the regular season. All right, tonight's question. Yeah, next week I'll do some playoff trivia. All right, tonight's question goes like this. Mike Vrabel was drafted in 1997 with the first pick in the 3rd round by Pittsburgh. Name the linebacker the Jets drafted that year before Mike Vrabel. You are on the clock. All right, so this goes back to the 1997 draft. Mike Vrabel was picked in the 3rd round, and somewhere in the first 2 rounds, the Jets drafted a linebacker. Who was that linebacker? I don't think this question is going to be exceptionally hard. I'm confident somebody's going to get this within the 5-minute time frame. All right. Let's see. Meanwhile, while I'm waiting for you to put your answers down, let's take a look how we're doing with the likes. Yep, we got enough likes. Yep, we got 16. Hey, let's make it 20. Let's get even more likes. So we will spin the wheel. All right, we'll do a 100 Jets wheel after we're done with the trivia. So definitely stay tuned for that as I burp up along there. Okay. Danger Zone goes Eric Barton. Eric Barton. Is it Eric Barton? It is not Eric Barton. He was signed as a free agent. Wild Wave goes with Mo Lewis. Is it Mo Lewis? No, Mo came a long way before that. All right, guys, I know we got a bunch more people in the chat, so go ahead, take your chances. We can't let Danger and Wild Wave do all the guesses. And Sharon McClain, she always comes in like from behind, like through the back door, and she just delivers. She says that it is James Ferrier. Is it James Ferrier? Sharon, you are one smart cookie, my friend. I'll tell you that. That's right. James Ferrier was drafted in the 1st round by the New York Jets in 1997 before they just geniusly let him go to Pittsburgh. So, chat, this one didn't take too long. It took about 2 minutes. And this tonight, this would be a win. All right. So, good job, guys. So, that ends trivia for tonight. All right, guys. So, let's do this. Let's get the wheel locked and loaded. Okay, so I got to go to, no, not Google Slides. So I got to share my screen. Yeah, this is going to be our first wheel of the year 2025. It's a momentous occasion, isn't it? There we go. Okay. All right, I'm going to switch over to my phone to watch the chat, make sure that everything is up as it needs to be. Yep, we traded back and did not draft Orlando Pace that year. Yep, that is correct, Wild Wave. All right, so guys, here's how this works. We have 100 random New York Jets on this wheel, plus a couple of stipulations as well to make it a little bit more fun. We are going to spin this wheel 10 times, land on a random New York Jet, and then it is up to you, the chat, to tell me where we are going to rank this Jet on our top 10 list from 1 to 10. We do it one player at a time. So we've got busts, we've got legends, we've got Ring of Honor, we've got Ring of Hell, we've got Curtis Martin, we've got Christian Hackenberg, we've got, we've got Joe Klecko, and we've got, who's another one I could, I already did a J there, but yeah, we've got, what can I say? Yeah, I'm trying to think of another one. We've got, we've got Brandon Moore. We've got Blair Thomas. There you go. There's one. Okay. Yeah, genius moves by Parcells. Bill Parcells did not do a lot of things well here. He did very well with free agents, bringing in Kevin Mawai, guys like that. But you look at some of the drafting with guys like Dorian Boose. Oh, my God. Bad. I was going for the alliteration. Hey, Jersey Jet. Yeah, I was thinking Blair Thomas, Browning Nagel, and I kept coming up with busts. I was trying to come up with like a top Jet who starts with a B. But yeah, we have a lot of bad Bs. We've got Braden Mann. We've got Blair Thomas. We've got Browning Nagel. I love this bar. Okay, so there we go. So, guys, here, and remember, before every spin, name a Jet who you think we're going to land on. All right. And then if we land on that particular Jet, then you get to pick where we're going to put the Jet on that list. So we're going to do a 1 to 10 list tonight, 100 random Jets. So everybody start putting in your guesses on who we're going to land on. Yep. Danger picks Aaron Glenn. Yep. He's on the wheel, possibly future coach. It could be. Jersey Jet goes with Jeff Loggeman. Wow. All right. David D goes with Wayne Krebet. Give everybody a moment or two to put their guesses in. I'll try to come in towards the end there. Okay, I see a couple of guesses. I'm going to say for our first spin of 2025, we're going to start with we're going to get Vernon Golston. How about that? Yeah, we got Vernon Golston on this wheel. We haven't landed on him too much. Wild Wave and Sharon, pretty confident with Nick Mangold and Curtis Martin. All right, guys, it is the first spin of the year 2025. Let's spin that wheel. In 3, 2, 1. And round it goes, and it comes to a stop on, oh, my guy, Chad Pennington. Yes, one of my favorite Jet of all time, and it's going to be very, very hard for anybody to surpass him. I'm gonna tell you. Let's. I can always pull stats up for a player here. Played 11 seasons total in his career. I think he was with the Jets for 8 of them. Yep, 8 with the Jets, 3 with Miami. And I think when he retired, he had the highest completion percentage of any quarterback. Yeah, completed 66% of his passes, 82 touchdowns, 55 interceptions. It was the damn injuries that just messed everything up, right? All right, so let's see, guys. On the 1 to 10 list, where are we putting Chad Pennington, and why are we putting him at number 1? Wild Wave says 3. Okay, so not in the Ring of Honor, but I'll tell you what, he should be. He should be. Jersey Jet by position? No. Hey, Jersey Jet, just overall. Remember, we've got great Jets, average Jets. We've got busts. So this is the fun of it. So we're putting them in one number at a time and hope at the end 1 to 10 we're going best Jet to worst Jet. So if you think we'll land on 2 Jets better, then put them at number 3. If you think we'll land on 5 Jets better, put them at number 6. If you think that's the best we'll do, put them at number 1. Danger Zone Dane goes with 2. Sharon goes with a 2. Hey, Billy SBC, how you doing? Chad looks like Hermie the dentist from the Island of Misfit Toys. I've got to see what you're talking about. Hermie the dentist. What? Hermie the dentist. You know what? With the blonde, with the hair, if Hermie had darker hair, I guess I could see it. Jersey's going with the 6, dude. I'm throwing your guess out right. All right, then I'm making him a 1 just to counter it. Okay, we're not going to get 5 Jets better than Chad Pennington, I can assure you. But okay, want to go with a 6? We'll go with a 6. All right, I think we're going to go around. Guys, I'll give you about 15 seconds to get your votes in. We got a nice number of people here in the chat. I love it. So yeah, throw your where you want to put Chad on. I almost wish we had Chad a little bit later when we had a few numbers already picked off, But we got the full gamut here. So right now it looks like we're heading for about a 3. Unless we see some other votes to change it up. Okay. Yeah, Jersey Jet's gonna take it down a little bit. Okay, guys, I'm gonna lock Chad Pennington in at number 3 on our list tonight. All right, so I'm gonna put him in the chat from now on, like one at a time, since Can't seem to get a display up, but we can at least do that. Let's have some sort of different interface. Billy SBC, Chad was maybe our seventh best. Seventh best what? Player of all time? Certainly not our seventh best quarterback. I'd make him 2 or 3 easily. Probably 3, I would say. You want to put O'Brien ahead or Vinny ahead? You could. But again, when you factor in all the other people on the wheel, are we going to get that many players better than him? Seventh best quarterback? I can't agree with that. You can't tell me Richard Todd, Mark Sanchez, who else were better than him? No. Namath was. Testaverde is debatable. Kenny O, in my mind, is very debatable. Who are you going to rate? You're going to rank 6 ahead of him? Who are we talking about? Ryan Fitzpatrick over one year? Yeah, Dane, yes. This is 100 random Jets. This is not the 100 best Jets ever. No. That's what I said. We got the bus on this wheel. We got Vernon Golston. We've got Vlad Dukas. We got Christian Hackenberg, Blair Thomas, Kyle Wilson, Tremaine Johnson. So I'm going to go with 3. He was a better quarterback for 1 year, and the second year he sucked and he was gone. Come on. No, he wasn't better. How many times did Ryan Fitzpatrick make the playoffs? That as many as you and I did. All right, Chad is 3. He's locked in. All right, let's go to spin number 2. Everybody, put your jersey. I promise I'm not trying to trick you, man. We've been doing the wheel. Ask anybody who's been here. We've been doing the wheel the same way ever since we debuted it. We debuted it over a year ago. So I promise you, I'm not trying to trick you. It's just the wheel, and it's a totally random wheel. I promise you, I'm not trying to trick you. Billy, one more comment like this, and I'm putting yo ass in timeout, buddy. It's okay, Jersey. Hey, I'm glad you're here, and welcome. Yeah, we have players from all over the map here, all over. Believe me. So as we keep spinning, yeah, you'll definitely see. Okay, so Sharon goes Wesley Walker. Billy's just trolling me, man. This would be like me trolling Green Bean about Mo Lewis or Jeremy about James Hasty or Nick Shine about JoJo Townsell. You know, that's all you're doing to me. David D with Jay Samaro. See, there we go. You know what? That pretty much sums it up right there. You'll see how many turds we get. Because remember, this is the New York Jets. It is. Oh, there we go. All right, there we go. I know, Dane, I know you're picking Aaron Glenn throughout. I'm going to go with Lavernius Coles. All right. So, Jersey, pick a player who you think we might land on, anybody who's on the wheel. And if we land on that player, then you can pick anywhere on the list that player goes. All right, guys, I'm going to give you about 15 seconds to get your final votes in. Billy SBC, what's the question? No, Billy, I think you were just trolling me. Who are we going to land on the wheel? Just any player on the wheel who you think we may land on this particular spin. Put their name down there. And if we land on them, then you get to pick where they go. Yeah. And there will be no more Chad slander tolerated tonight. You're lucky I'm in a good mood. I'm going to put my Chad jersey on. One of them anyway. That's the only player I have multiple jerseys for. Billy goes with Nick Mangold, and Jersey goes Kevin Malai. Okay, great. All right, here we go. We are going to got to get back to the wheel. There we go. All right, let's spin it in 3, 2, 1. Round and round it goes, and we come to a stop on pick left or right. Okay, so what that means is there's a player. I can't really zoom in here. So we can either pick the player to the left of the space or to the right of the space. Now, the 2 players that we have to choose from are Braxton Berrios and Calvin Pace. So chat, yep, Danger, yep, all spots open for ranking besides number 3. So chat, what I need you to do is put down there in the comment. Actually, you know what? Let me see if I can create a poll here. I don't know if I can, but I'll try. I know there's a way to create a poll here. I know there's a way. Let me see here. I'm just going to throw a wheel emoji in there. There we go. All right, guys. So basically, what I need you to do is to either say, who do you want? First of all, which player are we going to pick? Braxton Berrios or Calvin Pace? One of those two players will be our next player. And then from there, let me know where you want to rank them. So first, is it Berrios or Pace? And this is going to be interesting because you could really put these players in a number of different spots. You talk to different Jet fans, they'll have different opinions about these two guys. Calvin Pace, solid, reliable linebacker for a decade. Never a great player, but a good, steady player. And Berrios won here as long, but gave you some special teams ability. Unfortunately, did have some big drop passes later on. Okay, Pace is running away with this one. Okay, so we're going to go with Calvin Pace. All right, so chat, where are we ranking Calvin Pace on this list? The only spot we can't use is number 3. Okay, so anywhere else? 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10. Where does Calvin Pace belong? All right, Danger Zone goes with 4. I want 5th, but it'll be too hard to fill in number 4. Okay, that's fair. All right, guys. So I've got a 4 for Pace. Yeah, Pace was with us way longer, had more impact. See, Billy, once in a while we actually agree. Jersey Jet going a little bit harder, going with a 7. Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty much right in the middle myself, but I want to let you guys have a chance to vote before I give you my input. I'll pull up Calvin Pace's stats as a Jet. So he was in the NFL from 2003 to 2015, played the last 8 years of his career with the Jets, and with the Jets played 67 games, 14 sacks. Let's see, 67 quarterback hits. Was never a Pro Bowler or anything like that. 316 solo tackles. Yeah, Billy, rating him is not going to be easy. Yeah, just on this list. Sharon goes with a 5. I'm about in the same spot right now. I'm leaning 5, 6, right around there. It depends how the rest of the wheel goes. But a good solid Jet for a long time who had success and played a lot. He only missed 8 games in 8 years, so that's pretty good. All right, looks like he's going to be slap in the middle. I'm going to put Calvin Pace at number 5. It's like he's right in between 5 and 6. I'm going to lean just a little higher, and I'm going to give him spot number 5. All right. So that's what we're going to do. There we go. Okay. There's some good players between 6 o'clock and 9 o'clock, Jersey Jet says. Yeah, you never know. Yeah, I have the only thing I control on the wheel is where the different players are lined up. All I can do is click the spin button, and wherever it lands, it lands. All right, so we got Chad at 3. We've got Calvin at 5. Let's go on to spin number 3. Okay, now I'm going to say right now, we're going to land on I'm feeling kicker. I'm going to say Pat Leahy is where we land. Every time we land on Pat Leahy, it always results in a bit of a debate on how high he should be ranked. So I'm going to say we get a Pat Leahy debate tonight. Why not? Danger Zone, here comes a turd. Hey, you know what? We'll need a couple of turds to get through the wheel tonight. Need a couple of them. All right. I know Dane's sticking with Aaron Glenn. All right, chat. So put down there who you think that we will land on. And if we land on a player we've already landed on, we just respin. Jersey Jet thinks Freeman McNeil. Okay. Oh, Jerome Barkham. Okay. Yep. Sharon going back into the past a little bit with that one. Hopefully Harlan gets back soon from getting his drugs. Hopefully he's got us on in the car or something. But yeah, a little bit. Yeah. So it's always fun when Father Abraham gets to contribute to this, but not tonight, I guess. Jersey Jet was a big Jerome Barkham fan. Okay. Oh, very nice. Yeah, a little bit before my time, but not by much. I was born in 81, so yeah. Yeah, my earliest memories are Toon, McNeil, those type guys. A little bit later. All right. Yeah, I'm going to say, that we land on Pat Leahy. All right, let's spin the wheel. This is spin number 3. In 3, 2, 1. And we're going to come to a stop on Victor Green. Nice. This is a pretty good wheel to start off with here tonight. So Victor Green, I'm not sure if he's in the Jets Ring of Honor, but there's a lot of Jet fans who would tell you he is the best safety that the Jets may have ever had. And he's still very active on Twitter, posts a lot of very inspirational sayings, pretty much one every day. And what's really cool about Green, he was an undrafted free agent in 1993. 1 year later, he's the starting safety. So Jersey Jets going with a 4. So Green played with the Jets for 9 years before going to New England. Of course, he had a pick 6 against the Jets as a Patriot, and he finished his career in New Orleans. But with the Jets, played 139 games, had more than that. Yeah, he had 24 interceptions, recovered 13 fumbles, 7 sacks, 859 tackles. So, darn good player. Billy SBC would like to see Chris Jenkins somewhere. All right, I'll double check that. Love the turn of the century Jets. Dane's going 4. Okay. Victor Green's your Facebook friend. Cool. And he follows Dane on Twitter. Nice. I must be doing something wrong in life. All right, so right now it looks like we're putting him right in between Chad and Calvin. But do you think a little bit higher of Victor Green? Should he be maybe in that number 2 spot? Should he? Right now, 4's got the edge, but I'll give everybody a couple minutes. Okay. All right. So it looks like we're going to stick with the 4. It looks like the 4s have it. I thought we might rate him above Chad, but I think if we had put Chad at 4, Victor Green would definitely be 3. But all right, Victor Green will be number 4 on this list. All right. We'll roll with it. Okay, so that is spin number 3. Pop that in. So 3, 4, and 5 are taken. So we need to get some Ring of Honor, and we need to get some bad Jets is what we need to get right now. Okay, let's go to spin number 4. I'm going to say we land on that's a new comparison I could do. We've got Darrelle Revis. We've got D. Milliner. That's a perfect. I'm going D. Milliner for my pick on this one. All right. All right, guys. So put down there in the chat who you think we might land on. Okay. All right. So I've got D. Milliner. Sharon's going Ron Farrow. Did I put Ron Farrow on this list? Do I actually have Ron Farrow on here? I've had to go deep on that one. All right. Not sure I did, but okay. Yeah, we got a nice turnout here in the chat too. Yeah, staying in double digits tonight. That's great. That's really great. Like it. All right, Chad, I'll give you about 20 seconds as the motorcycle leaves right outside my window. Yeah, that motor is loud. All right, here, swig of water for the working man and woman. Okay, I see a couple more coming in. Okay, all right. Danger will spin the wheel, then we'll address that. All right, let's go to spin number 4 in 3, 2, 1. And Lee Cravat says spin again. Okay, so we have to spin again in 3, 2, 1. And we come to a stop on And this is your evidence that this is not a 100 all-time Jets list. We land on Blair Thomas, who we drafted over Emmitt Smith way back when. Danger, are you a butter for grilled cheese or a mayo guy? Butter all the way. I don't like regular mayonnaise. I don't. Jersey Jet goes -10. All right. Well, Blair Thomas's career stats, they were freaking amazing, weren't they? Number 2 overall draft. And with the Jets, he was there 4 years only. Had 2,009 yards on 468 carries. So that's 4.3 yards per attempt. Had how many? He only had 2. He had 5 touchdowns, and he had 8 fumbles. He had 8 fumbles to 5 touchdowns. How much more do you? He had a moment here and there. I think he did have a long run of 55 yards one time. He did have that. Had 2 receiving touchdowns as well, but even still combined, he had more fumbles than total touchdowns. Then he went on to New England, went on to Dallas, went on to Carolina, and was out of the league at 28 years old. So Sharon goes with a 9. Yeah, butter for sure. I could deal with a spicy mayo if it's like a chipotle mayo or a garlic aioli, that kind of a thing. But if it's straight mayonnaise, especially on a sandwich, no mayo ever. Yeah. I mean, so to me, Thomas is either going to be 9 or 10, one of the two. And remember, we could definitely land on. We could always land on Christian Hackenberg. We could always land on Tremaine Johnson. So, Jersey Jet, he's one of the reasons I hate Penn State. All right, that's what's up. I'd probably go with a 9, and I'm just going to take a chance we could land on somebody even worse. But it's pretty much a toss-up. Chat, I know there's a lot of people in the chat who haven't voted, so put down where you want to put Blair Thomas. Let your voice be heard. Your vote counts, and it will not be recounted. There are no hanging chads, and it doesn't take me all night to count the things. All right, give everybody about 10 seconds to get their votes in on where they're going to rank Blair Thomas. Right now, he's heading for the bottom of the list. So if anybody wants to rescue Blair from the bottom of the list, they got to do it now. All right, Blair Thomas, number 10. And Jersey Jet, I'll let you know something else that tends to happen a lot. It always seems to happen very often that we save number 1 for the very end of the wheel. It just seems to work out that way a lot of times. Will it happen tonight? Let's see. All right, let's go to spin number 5. All right, number 5, I'm going to say we land on Leonard Williams. Yes, the same Leonard Williams who had a pick 6 against us this year. All right, Chad, put down your guesses on who you think we're going to land on. Give everybody a moment or two. And so far, we've got Chad Pennington at 3, Victor Green at 4, Calvin Pace at 5, and Blair Thomas at 10. So that leaves us 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, and 9 left to fill in. Jersey Jet, Bart Scott. All right, I like that. Like it. Yeah, and people do get them right. It happens. We even had a show or two where twice it was guessed correctly. Jets Mess. How you doing, man? Glad you're here. Jets Mess channel member, one of the was constantly always the first one here. Hope you're doing well. Happy 2025 to you, man. Sharon McLean wants to brick a Shaw. All right. Gotcha. All right, I'll give everybody about 15 seconds to pick a player who we might land on. Hey, living the dream. Back to a full week of work for the first time in 3 weeks. So it's just part of it. Back into the swing. Saw the Bob Dylan movie last night. That was pretty good. But I'll tell you what, if I had a nickel for every cigarette smoked during that movie, I could retire today. It was a lot, but yeah, good movie. Tim Chalamet or Shyamalan, however you say his name, M. Night Shyamalan, whoever he is. Very, very good performance as Dylan. Very, very good. Yep, and 4 Victor. Yeah, so Chad's telling where we are. 3 Chad, 4 Victor Green, 5 Calvin Pace, 10 Blair Thomas. That's where we are so far. Okay, I'm going to go to spin number 5. Yeah, I said Leonard Williams. All right, I see a couple other guesses in there as well. Danger's got Aaron Glenn. Okay, in 3, 2, 1. And spin number 5 for the night. We land on Wayne Chrebet, one of the most popular New York Jets of all time. You know, we just talked about Victor Green, who is an undrafted free agent and came to be one of the best Jets of his era. Same story with Chrebet. 11 years with the green and white, 580 catches, 7,365 yards, 41 touchdowns. Amazing. Sadly, never really got any true recognition aside from the Ring of Honor, but around the league, no Pro Bowls or anything like that. But, averaged 13 yards per reception. So, it's amazing. In 1996, his second year, he had 5 fumbles, and he only had 2 more after that the rest of his career. That's pretty crazy. Yeah, it looks like it's straight 2s for this one. All right, so we're taking the chance that we could do a little bit better than Wayne Chrebet. All right. There'll be a few that could probably surpass Wayne, but there won't be a lot of them. But, yeah, it's just straight 2s all the way down, and I'm good with it. So, all right, Wayne Chrebet will be number 2 on the wheel. All right, so number 2, we got Chrebet. 3, we've got Pennington. 4, we've got Green. 5, we've got Pace. 10, we got Blair Thomas. That leaves 1, 6, 7, 8, and 9. We need some crappy Jets coming up, guys. Yeah, we got to do worse than this, right? Jersey Jet got into a fist fight over Wayne. Oh, boy. Well, if you'd like to tell us the story, yeah, go ahead and type in whatever you'd like to tell us about it. I'd like to know what the other person, what fan are they? Because I'm willing to bet they're not Jet fans. Okay, spin number 6. Let's go on. I'm going to do this for Billy SBC. I'm going to say Richard Todd. Since you said Richard Todd was better than my man Chad Pennington, I'm going to take Richard Todd from you, Billy SBC. How you like that? All right. So, guys, who are we going to land on for spin number 6? Give everybody about a minute. Yeah, there's Billy. He's back. Where you been, man? All right, Sharon goes with Joe Willie. Sharon thinks that we're going to fill in that number 1 spot right now. It's actually kind of funny. So we have 5 spots left to fill. We have number 1, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's almost like we're taking 5 shots at filling in number 1. This is going to be a very, very interesting finish here. Yeah, I can see this going very well or very horribly. But one thing's for sure, we need like an all-time Jet and a bunch of bad Jets. So, Dolphin fans said something crazy when Wayne got upended, braced for the fall, and fumbled. Oh, boy. I still remember that one fumble he had in Champaign-Urbana the year we won the division when he was like trying to hurdle 3 or 4 Chicago Bears, and he was on like the 14-yard line. It was just ridiculous. Love Wayne, but I still remember that one fumble. I remember it very well. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and spin. This is spin number 6. In 3, 2, 1. And it comes to a stop on Derek Mason. Woo! Definitely one of the best all-around offensive players of his generation. Great Raven, decent Titan, and a sucky Jet. They brought him in, and I've told this story, to replace Jericho Cotchery after Cotchery asked for his release. So the Jets signed Derek Mason, and he lasted 5 games before he was released. 5 games. I'll tell you what, It is hard for me to put Derek Mason anywhere other than 9 myself. Because when you only last 5, at least Blair Thomas made it 4 years. Derek Mason was done in 5 games. And it almost feels like, not that he took the franchise down, but replacing Jericho with him, it just changed the locker room. It changed the culture and all of that stuff. And it just didn't really recover. Sharon, I can't put him at 10. Blair Thomas is number 10. We've got 1, 6, 7, 8, or 9. Those are our 5 remaining numbers. So we can put him anywhere. And we ain't put him at number 1, I can assure you. Seems like a great guy, just did not work out here at all. So Dane going 8, thinks we could do a little bit worse. Sharon 9.5. I'm with it. All right. Jersey Jet 9. Didn't he go on to do well elsewhere? I know after with us, that was his last year. I think he went to the Titans after that. It was either the Titans or it was the Texans. It was one of the two. Yeah, he started with Tennessee, then he went to Baltimore, and he played the last 7 games of his career with Houston, where he didn't do much of anything over there either. In 7 games, he had 6 catches, 55 yards. With the Jets, 5 games, 13 catches, 115 yards, no touchdowns. He did have 7 first downs. But, yeah, just as a Jet is all we're worried about. Yeah, we're not worried about the Tennessee career. We're not worried about the Baltimore career. And he was 37 years old in all fairness. But, come on. We cut Jericho for him. It's still good. It still irks me. All right, Chad, I'll give you about 15, 20 more seconds to put your votes down in. Where are we ranking Derek Mason? Jersey Jet, that's so Jets. He made Ronnie Lott look like actual San Francisco Ronnie Lott. He made Steve Atwater look like Ronnie Lott. Yeah, this move failed on every level. On every level. There's no way around it. Okay, give you a few more seconds, guys. We're done. I'm going to put Derek Mason. Danger, I like to save a bottom rung for somebody who'll mess a boatload in, but you never know with the wheel. All right, I'm going to go with 9. So Derek Mason gets that spot. That leaves us with 1, 6, 7, and 8. All right, guys, let's put our votes in there. I'm going to say he's staring me right in the face. Tim Tebow. Why not Tim Tebow, right? Speaking of acquisitions that did not work out. So I'm going to say we land on Tebow. Dane, I know you have Aaron Glenn. Jets mess. I know, man. I know. We're so close. Yeah. But, you still got to get like a little bit past 1,000 just in case there's any bots that are messing with you. So, yep, Dane, I know you want Aaron Glenn. Yep, and we might just land on him, He'd be fine for a number 6, I would say. All right, chat. Who do you want to take? Who are we going to land on? You can't be right if you don't guess. Calvin Pryor, Chris Jenkins. Okay. Adam is doing a stream shirtless when he hits 1,000. Wouldn't be the first time. I don't know. Maybe we'll do like a food. We could do a food thing. Like, remember I did the hot dog eating thing that one night. So maybe like for every super chat or something like that, I'll eat a hot dog or I'll eat a slice of pizza or something like that. I'll do something a little bit weird. We might just do a night of wheels. Who knows? Maybe we'll just do a bunch of wheels for an hour. Just a special Friday night or Saturday night just for a wheel. Just do wheels, something like that. Maybe I'll have a guest on. You never know. And maybe we'll do another call-in show where I invite you to join. You could do that. So, but yeah, if you have any ideas, email me or message me. My email is in the channel description, so you can always reach out. Jersey Jet, my 51 jersey hangs proudly. Cool that you have a Vilma jersey. Jets mess. Have Jeremy come on with no shirt. That's that's an option, just as long as we shoot him from here up. Okay, so let's go on. Spin number 7 in 3, 2, 1. All right, and we come to a stop on, oh, dear God. You know what? Maybe I should have had Derek Mason at 8 because we get one of the absolute biggest draft pick busts the New York Jets ever had, Kyle Wilson. And one of my least favorite Jets I ever watched, was with here 5 years. I'm amazed he actually had 3 interceptions. He was like allergic to them. One sack. What do you expect from him? I mean, how do you really evaluate him? I mean, I wish I could look up his pass grade coverage, but man alive, he was brutal. He was brutal. And first year he played 89% of the snaps. Next year went down to 42%, then 30%. So his time kept dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping. Not good. All right. Is there any place else to go other than 8 here? Because I really don't think there is. Yeah, Dane, you were right. Yep, you were right. 8. Yeah, I can't put. Oh, boy. Joe Beningo, love him or hate him, had one of the best rants after him when he was playing like 15 yards off Wes Welker and let Welker convert like a 3rd and 6. And boy, oh boy, he went on and ripped him like nobody's business. He's like, bro, Kyle Wilson, he's like allergic to an interception here. What a disaster. All right, Kyle Wilson, yes, he is number 8. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. All right. Yep, 9, Mason, 8, Thomas. All right, so I'll give everybody a quick recap on where we are. Yeah, he would never turn around either. It was like Buster Screen. Number 10, Blair Thomas. Number 9, Derek Mason. Number 8, Kyle Wilson. Number 7, blank. Number 6, blank. Number 5, Calvin Pace. Number 4, Victor Green. Number 3, Chad Pennington. Number 2, Wayne Corbett. Number 1, blank. Jet Smith says that was Rex's boy. Yeah, for about 5 minutes. One for very long. They were hoping they could develop him after Revis and Cromartie, and oh my God, he made D. Milliner almost look good. I said almost. All right, so we got spots 1, 6, and 7. Where are we going to go next? I'm going to guess here Kyle Brady. We'll do another Kyle here. Kyle. All right, so Kyle Brady, I think, would fit very well into that number 7 spot. All right, chat, we got 3 more spins to do tonight. Who's it going to be? Who are we going to land on? Okay. Let's see. Mo Lewis, EMAC. Oh, Eric McMillan. Okay, I got it. All right. Dane, I know you've got Aaron Glenn. If Glenn comes up in the last 3 spins, he's a lock for head coach. Okay. Well, we'll see. And again, I don't think we'll have any coaches outside of course, Rabel getting hired until the Super Bowl. Sharon McClain goes Joe Fields. Center from days gone by. Sharon, I like it. You go with like the different ones. That's the reason I like you. Okay, spin number 8 in 3, 2, 1. And it's going to come to a stop on, this one's going to fit in very well. Muhammad Wilkerson. Well, it started out very, very well, and it ended very, very horribly. So Mo Wilk, God knows what he's up to now, but he has not had it very good since leaving the NFL. But he was 2nd-team All-Pro twice, was a Pro Bowler once, had 2 seasons of double-digit sacks, had a fumble recovery for a touchdown, played 105 games with the Jets and had 103 quarterback hits, 44 and a half sacks. He really got off to a good start, but to me, it was like once he broke his leg at the end of 2015, he got paid. He was never, ever the same after that. And then he had his last year in Green Bay in 2018 and was Never heard from him again unless he was getting in trouble with the law. So, yeah, I think, what were his issues? So he got arrested in 2019 and 2020. Both were DWIs. And ever since then, haven't really heard much from him. So hopefully he's okay. He's been very much out of the limelight since then. Oh, did he have another arrest recently? This is depressing. Oh, he was arrested. He was arrested December 22nd of 2023 as well for operating a vehicle under the influence and unlawful possession of a loaded gun. Open bottle of tequila and had a loaded gun. So he's been arrested 3 times, including in 2023. Damn. All right, so it's 1-6 or 7. Yep, 1-6 or 7. God, started off well, but the last 10 years, man. It's a sad story. It's a sad story. So I see a bunch of 6s here. All right, Mo Wilk will get spot number 6. You know, that seems fair. I mean, you could interchange him and Calvin Pace, I would say, depending on your criteria. So you know what? I'm cool with that. Number 6. All right, guys. Well, we've got 2 left. We've got, Quentin Copels. Oh, my God, yeah. We got 2 spots left. We got spot number 1, and we got spot number 7. All right, I say we got to get a Hall of Famer here. I'm going to say we got to get a top-level player. We're going to land on Joe Klecko. Damn it. The Sack Exchange 30 for 30 premiere not that long ago. I think we got to have a Sack Exchange member on our list tonight. That's what I say. He was on his way to being one of the greats, Mo was. No question about it. And I think a lot of people, I think he broke his leg in that Week 17 game against the Bills. I'm pretty sure it was the week before. But I know he didn't play in that game, and that's one reason the defense was not the same. They didn't have him. They didn't have him. They didn't have – I don't think they played Chris – they didn't have Washington, Powell. Jets really played that game shorthanded in 15. You thought he was high character? Yeesh. Well, yeah, he's high, all right. Just not without the character. Yeah. All right, guys, who are we going to land on? This is spin number 9. Who's it going to be, guys? I'm taking Klecko. So we need an all-time elite Jet, and we need a Jet that's anywhere from good to sucks. I know we can do it. I mean, in between 6 and 8, Mo Wilk and Kyle Wilson, it's a pretty wide range there. All right, I see Sean Ellis. I see a couple of guesses coming in. All right. Yeah, guys, we've hit 2 hours tonight. 2 hours, 2 minutes. All right, awesome. Okay, I'm going to go. Spin number 9. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Marvin Jones, I got you, Sharon. Oh, it's going to be John Abraham. Oh, man. Oh, what do we do with him? John Abraham. We only have 1 and 7 to choose from. Can we put him above Crabette and Pennington and Green? At the same time, can we put him below Mo Wilkerson? So Abraham was here for 6 years before going to Atlanta and then Arizona. And in that time, he played 73 games with the Jets. We know he had a few injury issues to deal with. Had 53 and a half sacks. They weren't counting quarterback hits at the time, though I wish they were, because it would have been enormous. Made 3 Pro Bowls, was first-team All-Pro his second year in 2001. He forced 6 fumbles in 2001. That was a league high. That's impressive. And had 200 – what was it? 60. Yep, 53 and a half sacks with the Jets. 220 solo tackles also. Guys, I know this is tough. Where do we put Abraham? 1 or 7? I mean, as far as Pro Bowls go, he would have the most of anybody on this list. Just didn't have the longevity that some of the other players did, that Crabette did, that Green did, that Pace did. Wilkerson even. A lot of these guys were Jets for a long time. Chad was even there for, 8 years he was with us? So, yeah, only 6 years with the Jets is still not bad. All right, number one so far is winning. Does anybody want to disagree? Man, oh man, this is a tight wheel. I can't say that I'm completely against it, though. Putting him above Corbett and Pennington, I don't love it, but I can go with it. Okay. John Abraham, number one. Put it this way. If we could get a number 7, that would work. I would say we won the wheel, but it would be 1 thumb up, not 2 thumbs up. I'm going to say whatever we get for number 7 is going to affect how this thing turns out. Okay? So whoever we land on, spot number 7. I'm going to give us all a quick recap of the wheel tonight from top to bottom. Number 1, John Abraham. Number 2, Wayne Corbett. Number 3, Chad Pennington. Number 4, Victor Green. Number 5, Calvin Pace. Number 6, Muhammad Wilkerson. Number 8, Kyle Wilson. Number 9, Derek Mason. And number 10, Blair Thomas. So, guys, here we go. We are 9 spins down. We are 1 spin to go. It is the final spin of the first wheel of the year 2025. Coming in 3, 2, 1. 1.5. 1/2 spin. And we land on, is it going to be Corbett again? It is. Okay, we're okay. We're okay. We get to respin the wheel. So spin number 11 in 3, 2, 1, go. Just looking for an okay Jet. Just okay. And we land on Mickey Schuler. Oh, my God. Probably the best tight end the Jets ever had. That's not saying much, though. That's like being the thinnest one at a Weight Watchers convention. I mean, when you have the history of tight ends this franchise has, how excited can you really get? But we look at the stats of Mickey Schuler, and yeah, Mickey Schuler played with the Jets for 12 years, 160 games, 438 catches, 4,819 yards, 11 yards a catch, 37 touchdowns. Also had that game winner in 88 that knocked the New York Giants out of the playoffs, and was named a Pro Bowler twice, second team All-Pro in 1988. Had a good history for sure. Man, oh man. This is, I'm going to stop sharing the wheel. All right, I'm going to bring my my mug back up. So I'm looking at this wheel, guys. Number 1, Abraham, Corbett, Pennington, Victor Green, Calvin Pace, Mo Wilk, Mickey Schuler, Kyle Wilson, Derek Mason, and Blair Thomas. Can I really put Calvin Pace and Muhammad Wilkerson over Mickey Schuler? Can we do that? And John Abraham ahead of Wayne Corbett, Chad Pennington, and Victor Green? This is one of the toughest. Usually I can make a pretty decisive call if we won the wheel or lost the wheel. I got to be honest with you. I'm on the fence, guys. I'm really on the fence. Jersey, Jed Barkham and Schuler, the best tight ends ever. You know what, guys? When I'm this much on the fence, I don't want to settle for mediocrity like this franchise tends to. So as far as tonight goes, I'm sorry, but it's close but no cigar. I'll tell you, on that last spin, I was hoping to delete the last spin so we could take Abraham out of number 1. That's how I was really, really feeling. So, yeah, I can't quite call it a win, but we did come very, very close. So, guys, I want to thank you very much for hanging with me tonight. We are here every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Sometimes we go 45 minutes. Sometimes like this, we go 2+ hours. Just depends on what's going on and what there is to talk about. And hopefully this time next week, there's a lot more traction made in the search for the general manager and more interviews are done for the coach. I will be doing a video this week previewing all 6 wildcard games, so definitely check that out. I'm also going to do a video by this weekend. The Jets have 20 free agents, all right, unrestricted and restricted. I'm going to rank them from 20 to 1, who I want to see least to who I want to see come back the most. So check that out. Be sure to hit the thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when I drop something. Jersey Jet, thanks for joining us. Please come back. Go enjoy your dinner, which I'm going to make myself. I got some chicken breasts that I'm going to blacken in the cast iron skillet. So everybody have a great rest of your week. You guys rock. And I'll see you right back here with more content from you know where. The Wicker Chair. Good night, everybody.